I'm Senorita Cabbage.
I'm Ben.
I'm Sabrina.
And today we are opening the new set of Pokemon Steam Siege. The trading card game one. So Ben, what are you looking forward to in this set?
Looking forward to Evital Break and any cool good EXs they might have in this set.
Sabrina?
I still want sparkly cards.
I too want sparkly cards, and I'm also looking forward to Yveltal Break. So now we are going to...
What about Volcanion?
Oh yes! Volcanion!
Volcanion. Well,
This is the cool Volcanion hat that Camille from the Loves Park store here in Chicago. She makes these really cool hats and gives them out as part of the pre-release. So she made this Volcanion that Ben won at the pre-release. So
Top Cut Comics.
Top Cut Comics, yep. Come to Top Cut Comics, all the Top Cut Comics.
Yeah, there's a few.
All right, Jimmy send us a check. All right, so what do we got?
Oh, we got packs.
Okay, so I get this half, you get this half, right?
Thank you.
All right,
Ready?
let's get started.
Gotta give it a little shuffle.
Yeah, sure. And then we gotta make sure we sort them out into all the different types.
Okay. Let's start.
And I already got a Xerneas. They're reprinting the Xerneas that has Geomancy and Rainbow Spear, along with the Evital that has Oblivion Wing and I can't remember his second attack right now.
Okay.
Darkness Wing. So or Darkness Blade. They're reprinting both of them for this set because they're also coming out with their breaks in this set, which is interesting. And then I don't know where to sort this.
I just got that too.
Yep. Okay.
I guess I'll put it in this one. And then there's a funny trainer card
So
they just came
let's
out with.
explain that they're coming out with
They are coming out with dual type Pokemon now.
again.
Where they can be two different types at once. It's a pretty interesting concept, and the Gardevoir EX from the set also has it. And here's an interesting trainer card that they came out with. Its effect is when you draw it off your prize card, you can flip a coin. If heads, take another prize card. So it's a funny one. We'll see if it actually sees any play. It could be interesting if you're good at flipping coins.
Okay, and I got a new trainer card called Special Charge, where you take 2 special energy cards from your discard pile and you shuffle them into your deck. And that'll actually be pretty interesting. That's a way to get your special energies back if they get discarded somehow.
Yeah, Night March is going to like that card a lot at Worlds this year.
So we're seeing Fernapes, Lampert, not the Night March Lampert, but a different one.
Yep.
We've got a Fernapes pack
Here's an
with
interesting.
Flare Blitz. That's an oldie.
Yeah, he's just like the old level
Please.
X from Diamond and Pearl.
Sabrina, what do we got over here?
I got the supporter Pokemon.
So here is the most talked about card from this set. Pokemon Ranger. Remove all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So basically, if you play Seismitoad, Quaking Punch, the person plays this, Quaking Punch doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah, it's also if they play Giratina's attack, where you can't attach special energies, which is why Night March is going to have a big boost.
Well, Night March won't exist
Well, at Worlds, is going to have a big boost
but
from this.
in the standard format. Night March, the standard going forward after the rotation. It won't. But this is the hot card out of the set. Not very many good cards out of the set, but that's the hot card out of the set.
And I
And
also
then
got
she got a Mega Gardevoir, Despair Ray. This card as many of your bench Pokemon as you like. This attack does 10 more damage for each bench Pokemon you discard in that way. Interesting.
If only we
Yeah.
still had the Execute.
I still prefer Mega Rayquaza.
So I got a Shieldon, so they're coming back with the old fossils now. There's this one in, I think, the Ammonite
No, it's Bastiodon and Ramparados.
from Paradox. Oh, yeah, those two.
Almanite was a few sets ago.
Oh.
Or no, it's Bastiodon and...
So they're coming back with the worthless fossils again.
Yeah, I wish they'd make them good. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And then here's the interesting Talonflame.
So there's one of the claw fossils.
Yep, there it is. And then here's Talonflame, which people have been talking about as well, where if he's in your hand at the beginning of the game, you can put him as your starter. And his attack does 40 damage, and you can search your deck for any 2 cards and put him in your hand. So it's a pretty good effect, but the chances of getting this card in your hand your first turn are pretty slim.
Does it have to be in your hand at the very beginning?
Yeah. It's when it's setting up to play, it says.
Oh. Well, you could put 4 of those in.
Yeah, and then here's a funny card that you got it. This one's a funny card because its ability is when you put it from your bench, you can put 3 Pokeball cards into your hand. So I'm assuming you can pick up 3 Ultra Balls with
Nope.
this.
I talked to the person. It's only a Pokeball. They wouldn't let me pick up my.
Well,
Great Balls
right
or
now it
anything.
says Pokeball.
Well, right now
Let's
it says
see what they
Pokeball
are added
cards.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've already, Galvantula, if anybody's got that, has gotten that so far, they've already changed the ruling on that. So,
Yeah.
So this is the new Yveltal. It's the same old one, but they reprinted it. That's what I
Baby
meant.
Battle, and they actually have a leak promo of this.
Yes. And then I got another trainer, a new trainer called Captivating Pokepuff. Your opponent reveals his or her hand. Put any number of basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. So if they have that Shaman in their hand, because you shut off their abilities, you can make them put it down with Captivating Pokepuff, Lysander up, and knock it out. So that might see some play
Cool.
during the next
Yeah,
format.
people are looking at Zoroark decks for that card.
What do you
And
have?
I got another one of the mixed ability or type Pokemon. It's
Metal
Bisharp.
and dark.
Yep. And it's shiny too. It's blue
Okay.
instead of red.
If you please stop moving. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out, it does 30 plus 60, so it does 90 damage. It's got retaliate for just 1 colorless energy. It is a stage 1. We got a Gardevoir Spirit Link in this set.
Yep,
Yep.
reprinting it from Final Flash since
That's
there's another
the first
Gardevoir.
reprint of a Spirit Link, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. That is true.
Model, Ponyta,
Hmm.
Topic.
And Klefki is
Klefki.
another new card which has the ability Wonderlock, which it has the same kind of effect as Bursting Balloon, where it goes away at the end of your opponent's turn. But basically, if you attach this as an item card to your Pokemon, any Mega Pokemon cannot do damage.
So it's like Unknown G.
Yeah.
Guardian.
Yep.
From Omega.
Only for 1 turn, but that is still pretty powerful.
Cling, what do we got here? What's Kling's ability?
Any damage done to this Pokemon by an opponent's attack is reduced by 10 for each star in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat costs.
So, interesting ability, but I don't know how much it'll actually see any play.
Kling's always have interesting. We have a Hawlucha. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may have your opponent switch his or her active with one of his or her bench. So it's an interesting Hawlucha.
I just got a very interesting card. It accidentally got caught when
So we got Talonflame here real quick, and you can show your card in a second.
For 2 fire energies, it does 150 damage.
discard all
and you
fire.
discard the fires.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
Alright,
interesting.
so what were you showing us?
the Clauncher. Where's the Clauncher? It accidentally got the perforated thing.
So we found a bunch of the cards at the pre-release and everything, where the cards had these, where they, as they closed the packs and pinched it, that the card got pinched too and perforated across it. So it's very, I don't know if we're going cheap, sloppy, what, but there's a bunch of cards like that. So,
And then I also just got a Dredigan.
okay.
Which has Proud Fang. If your opponent has any Pokemon break in play, this attack does 60 more damage.
So here's another card that's people are talking about. It's called Ninja Boy.
So basically, you choose one of your basic Pokemon, and you get to search your deck for a basic Pokemon and switch it with that Pokemon. So you're replacing the basic Pokemon that you have with a basic Pokemon in your deck. It would be really useful if you had a Pokemon that you didn't really want.
But did you read the rest of this? Is that any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon?
Yeah.
So that's a key. So basically, it's like when you would bring up a different type of Deoxys and switch to Deoxys, the form thing, and then it would still have though all the things that are going on. And this way you're switching with the Pokemon. That is a supporter. So not sure what that's going to be useful, but who knows?
And I've got the Volcanion EX from the set, where he's got this interesting ability where once per turn you can discard a fire energy and each of your basic fire Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage, which is pretty powerful. Its attack, however, is kind of underwhelming. It does, for 2 fire and a colorless, it does 130, which is really not a lot of damage. And then he just can't attack your next turn, so his ability is really good, but I think the attack is a little underwhelming. But it could be interesting to see what combinations they put this card with, if there's another fire Pokemon that's stronger. And then I also have I have this other double type right here, Shiftry, where his first attack does 40 damage, and then until the end of your opponent's next turn, all their stadiums and tools have no effect. And then Extra Sensory does 60, but it does 120 if you have the same amount of cards as your opponent. So it's just an interesting double type right there.
Double typing with Judge in format.
Yep. And we got Chandelure, who's got the ability of basically Acrobike. Once per turn, you can look at your 2 cards, put one of them in your hand, discard the other one, and then his attack for a Psychic and a Colorless. So a Psychic, if you have a Dimension Valley, it does 10 plus 10 more for each supporter card in your discard pile. So that could be interesting to see.
It's a shame we don't have an Archie's or Maxie for Psychic. Right?
That's
Because then
true.
you could get this out and get that right there.
Yeah, that'd be very powerful like that.
So we've got a lot of different
Dual type stuff.
dual types. A lot of the electric. We Joltix back, but not a Night March. Chimchar. We saw the Infernape. Poniard back.
Yep.
Ampharos here.
That's pretty interesting.
Once during your turn attacks, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon EX. That's interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be active either, so.
Nope.
Huh.
I wonder if that's stackable.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Yep, once during your turn before you attack, so.
That could be pretty interesting.
Fungus,
That's
So
what I
cute.
we already looked at.
Yep.
It's nice to see some of the old Pokemon that we haven't seen in a while coming
Yeah,
out with something.
Like the Infernapes and
The
that.
Infernapes. So what do we got here, Sarah?
A Magierna, I think, EX. And it's actually a pretty cool looking EX. Its ability is prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any metal energy attached to it. Existing effects are not removed. So that's different. Instead of like when with the Virizion with the grass energies, when you attach it, all effects were removed and you can't be affected. This still keeps the effects if it has one on it. And its attack for a metal and 2 colorless. Soul Blaster does a base damage of 120, and during your next turn, this Pokemon Soul Blaster attack base damage is 60. So if you use it in the next turn, it'll be 60, and that'll be interesting.
So, it's not.
It may be good for the Mystic Heart on the bench.
Yeah.
And I got Cobalion, which is one of the old legendary kind of Pokemon. Its first attack, it Quick Guard prevents damage from all basic Pokemon from your opponent's attack next turn, and then its second attack does 30 plus 30 for each prize card that your opponent's taken
And Quick Guard can only be used.
once.
It can't be
It
used
can
on
be
your
used
next turn.
Yeah, so it's every
Which
other
I found
turn.
out with one of my opponents at a pre-release that when it says during your next turn, that really means
During your next turn.
Different kind of Spirit Link. Ooh, a Steelix Spirit Link. That's
Our
cool.
usual EX that needs too much energy to attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage. But Eos is famous for having a 5 energy or more attack.
So they pretty much reprinted the Yanmega Prime, except this time it says if you have exactly 4 cards instead of having to match your opponent's hand. Exactly. And for 3 colorless, it does Assault Boom, which is 50 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon Tool card attached to it, this attack does 70 more damage. So that's really nice. And then I just got the Golden Volcanion EX. And that looks so cool. And look, it's even got Xerneas in the background.
Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Excellent.
Still opening things. I got this interesting card here, Samurott. It's not one we see a lot of usually, but he's got 2 interesting attacks. So his second attack does 90 and 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for 2 water and a colorless. So shout out to Darkrai EX. It's about the same. But his first attack is interesting. For a water and a colorless, it says if the damage from this attack reduces your opponent's Pokemon's active HP to 60 or less, then that Pokemon's automatically knocked out. So it's just an interesting effect that
It's
they haven't really had.
interesting, and it would be really sweet if, you know, this is actually something that maybe you could put in a deck.
But it's stage 2.
It's stage 2.
And Archie's will be hard to use without Battle Compressor.
Yep, yep.
I just got the dual type Galvantula.
So they've already done an errata on double thread. That the this attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's not 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So whenever they did the translation, they didn't do it well.
And I just got the reprinted version of Yveltal.
This is a shiny one too, yeah?
Mhm.
Just like the other one we saw.
Yeah.
Spiritomb also is back.
Yes. With Nightmare and Damage Play. Nightmare does 10 and it puts your opponent's Pokemon to sleep. And then Damage Play lets you move as many damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon as you like to any of your opponent's other Pokemon. So you can basically mess with their damage.
From the bench.
Yep.
Toxicroak?
Poison, its attack does 50, and if you get heads, it poisons your opponent's Pokemon. And its ability is, if their opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, you get to prevent all damage done by their attacks.
Yep. So it's interesting to see Toxicroak back. I see a Krogunk over here.
The poison up. If the defending Pokemon is poisoned, put 3 more damage counters on that Pokemon between turns. This effect can be applied more than once. So that means it can stack. So between turns you can make it like go up from 3 to 6. Oh, 3 more damage counters, so that would be from 4 to 7 to 10.
If he survives that long.
If,
Yes.
And if he doesn't have to go get Brock.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that.
Yeah? Was it Krogunk and
Yeah, he would always stab, bro.
he would stab Brock and pull him away?
Yep.
Mega Steelix.
Yep. He's a dual type metal
That
and
is
fighting.
bizarre looking.
And that is a lot of energy.
What's the attack do?
For 1 metal and 4 colorless, it does 160, which doesn't knock out most EXs, but it does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon as well. So he's a really big guy, needs a lot of
Really
energy.
big retreat.
Really big retreat, and that's what Steelix and Onix are known for, is they're really big retreats and energy
Does
costs.
it have on here like
Just like Wailord.
how big Steelix is?
Not on the EXs.
Oh,
Those are
that's a
only the regular
shame.
ones.
They're like 5,000 pounds and
Yeah,
40 feet long.
no kidding. You're mistaken for a steel girder.
As well as
Yeah, there's a Hydreigon in the set. I don't remember what it does at the moment. Each of your restored Pokemon has no weakness for Anorith. Sadly, fossils would be so fun to play right now, but sadly the trainers they have for them just make it nearly impossible to get them out. Because all of them are, look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. If you find the restored Pokemon there, then you can put it onto your bench, but the chances of that happening are so low that they're not worth playing.
Mareep?
Yep.
No, I agree. Anytime you have to go and take a chance on it's on your deck, what's the use?
Oh, this is interesting. I didn't even notice this. Litwick, slightly the simmer. Search your deck for 2 cards and discard them.
There you go. There's your battle compressor.
Yep.
Except for you have to have a Pokemon and
And attack
catch
with
an energy and knock it
yeah.
out and lose a prize.
And you only get 2 instead of 3 cards too.
So I just got the Pyro Break, which has Kaiser Tackle, which does 180 damage, and the Pokemon also does.
So most people call it Kaiser Tackle, but okay.
Kaiser.
Like the Kaiser.
Yes, Kaiser.
Yep.
And it does 50 damage to itself. Is the protection cube still in format, or was that too long ago?
I think it's still in format. But I
I
still
think the cube's in the set, isn't it?
no.
I thought I saw something that looked like the cube.
Yeah, it was the greedy dice.
Ah.
And I got one of my favorite cards, which is Jump Love. At least it used to be, with the old Jump Love deck from Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Okay. You don't need to read the text because they're worthless.
She's
So if we
Fluffy
opened
treat.
everything up,
No,
No,
I
she's
still
got
have
two
two
more
more.
working
packs.
on it. She's going.
Oh, and I just got the full art Pokemon Ranger.
ooh, that's going to be a popular card.
shiny.
Yeah, still
That's
didn't
gonna
get
be
the
popular.
Sycamore though.
So I think out of this set, Pokemon Ranger, Klefki will be very useful. I'm sure people will find. Because after this rotation, Night March will be gone, so the only thing doing enough damage to knock out EXs in one shot will be Mega Rayquaza. So he'll get popular again, I'm assuming. So Klefki will also gain popularity, since there'll be no way to discard tools as well.
Ooh, look at
Oshawott.
And there's Nashawat too, right after that.
I like Oshawott. Fletchling, Braviary.
Avalugg.
What's that, Infernape?
Yep, I got Infernape. Shiny
Yeah,
Infernape.
with the Flare Blitz back.
Yep.
That's cool.
Flare-
It's like the
up.
Diamond and Pearl one. Flare Blitz does 120, right? Yep.
Him.
You discard 2 fires, and then Flare Up, which is what Infernape
Actually,
level X.
Flare Blitz is discard all fire energy on
Discard
this
all
one.
fire, yeah.
Yep.
And then Flare Up is like the old Infernape level X, where you have to have at least 10 fire in your discard to use it, but it does
Yeah.
200 damage.
You get to shuffle
And
them
you
all
shuffle
back
them
in.
all back in,
Yeah,
so-
that was interesting. Wonder if that can work with something.
Yeah, maybe it works with Volcanion, except that Volcanion can only boost basic fire Pokemon's attacks.
Well, like I said, if there was a Maxie's for or an Archie's for a lot of these different types, right?
Yeah, well, even that would be tough without Battle Compressor now.
But still gives you a chance.
I'd like.
So we
for
did
them to
see an Evital Break, which is one of the cards we were looking for.
Yeah, that one is pretty good. It does.
What does that do?
I believe it does 120 damage, and then it does 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage on it for only 3 darks.
Oh, that's
So,
pretty cool.
It is pretty strong to put a break into a deck that already is very powerful with Evital EX and Zoroark and other things like that.
Cool. All right. So anything? So overall, Steam Siege, or
Yeah.
great,
Well, considering the cards that we got.
Well, Volcanion, what do you think? I don't know what he says.
Well, I'm assuming in the next format next year, the most popularly seen card will be Fighting Fear Belt, as there are no ways to discard tools. So everything will be big and have big HP and be swinging for big hits.
All right. Anything else?
I got sparkly cards.
I think that's pretty cool how we got the full art Pokemon Ranger. It looks really nice.
And the
Yeah.
secret rare Volcanion.
And then the
Yeah,
secret
the
rare
rare
Volcanion.
Volcanion. Very nice.
See, Volcanion, we made you proud. We got the secret rare of you, and we got the normal one of you.
Yep.
He looks happy.
Yes,
All right.
very.
Well, thank you guys.
All right.
Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.